Good morning. Welcome back into Wake Up America. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis taking the bold step of sending 800 Florida National Guard members to help with the migrant crisis in Texas as migrants continue to fan out across the country. We're not just talking about big cities, small town America being affected by this crisis as well. New York City Mayor Eric Adams now says New York City as a sanctuary city just isn't working. For more, let's welcome in former senior advisor to the Department of Homeland Security and Newsmax contributor Charles Marino. Charles, good morning. Good to see you again, my friend. Take a listen to what Eric Adams told a judge in New York City about NYC as a sanctuary city. Take a listen.
This is one of the last places we want to look at. None of us are comfortable with having to take these drastic steps. But I could not have been more clear for the last few years, for the last few months of what we are facing. Over 65,000 migrant asylum seekers have reached our city.
Charles, I thought all these northern blue cities were going to be sanctuaries for the migrants. What happened?
Well, that's right. And exactly why they're drawing those large numbers to those cities specifically, because of the protections that they offer to these migrants. Remember, migrants can commit crimes if they're here in the country illegally, and sanctuary cities will not work with immigration and customs enforcement to neither identify them or schedule them for removal. So, I mean, the answers are right there, baked into the overall purpose of how sanctuary cities came to be. And now they're not liking it so much with all of these numbers flocking to their cities.
Okay, and now, Charles, folks on the left are trying to pay migrants that broke the law, committed a felony the second they entered the country. They want them to receive $300 monthly in unemployment benefits. Now, it's not a huge sum of money, but unemployment benefits for illegal migrants, does that make any sense?
Well, let's start with the issuance of the cell phones on arrival into the country. It's always amazing to me how the administration said this was unprecedented and there was no way for them to predict this crisis. Yet they have the perfect amount of cell phones for everybody coming across the border. It's amazing. I had to wait 2 weeks for my iPhone to come in, but yet they're handed phones right off the bat. And you're going to see this continuation of policies and plans that fund illegal migrants through every portion of their duration while they stay here in the United States.
Yeah.
And it's going to cost taxpayers billions and billions of dollars.
Well, the number, and this is just California proposing this right now, Governor Gavin Newsom, he wants $300 to illegal migrants for up to 20 weeks. We've had 6 million illegal crossings since Joe Biden took office. Try doing the math on that. 300 times 20 times 6 million. And we're in the middle of a debt ceiling crisis right now. June 1st, we could default for the first time in a long time. Take a listen to New York Governor Kathy Hochul, also doubling down on the crisis that we see in New York throughout the state.
We already have over 61,000, over 40,000 housed in New York City. They're bursting at the seams, and Mayor Adams is doing the very best he can in a difficult situation. You're going to start seeing people living in tents, not just on the border, but in the streets of New York and across New York State, because we've reached a breaking point.
Charles, a lot of rhetoric, a lot of that, but no change in policy. Why do you think that is?
Well, because they're afraid to get on the bad side and confront the White House, the president, which is the cause of all this. Look, they've laid out the problem nicely, the result of what's going on and what they're seeing in their cities. But they're always stopping short of saying, why did the president and the Biden administration create the conditions for this crisis to become reality? Let's remember, this was the administration that decided to stand down, remain in Mexico, challenge Title 42 from the very start in the courts and not enforce it consistently, not because these programs weren't working, Rob, but because they were the idea and the policies of the previous administration, and they wanted to put the politics over our homeland security. So look, if these local officials are going to start being accountable to their own constituent and they're starting to feel the heat, then they need to start pointing the finger at the president and say, you better fix this and fix this fast. Because as much as the secretary's going on all these shows to spike the football about how great they are, that's not the case. We're still in a crisis. The numbers are still at crisis levels. And when the cartels figure out the new policies, they're going to try and beat the system like they did the past 2 years.
Charles, just 15 seconds. The Crossroads Hotel in Newburgh, New York. This couple, and I love this couple because their attitude has been so good. They had something like 37 rooms booked for wedding guests. The hotel didn't contact them. They found out via email that all of a sudden those rooms were going to be given to illegal migrants. By the way, for anyone who doesn't know Newburgh, New York, it's a beautiful, cute, rural town. And now illegal migrants are going to be taking the place of their hotel guests in the hotel. What do you make of that and where we are as a country right now?
No, it's wrong. We've got gymnasiums being taken over. We've got homeless veterans being kicked out of hotels. Our priorities are so skewed here because of this administration across the United States. And we better hope that 2024 brings some real change here to get this country back on track and the superpower that it was once known as around the world.
Great point, Charles. Yeah, you think about your kids going to class just a couple feet away from a gymnasium full of illegal migrants who are doing everything in that gymnasium, bathing, sleeping, everything. Unbelievable. Charles Marino will pick this up again soon.